Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Avon Park Aero Models Club in Avon Park, Florida. We're going to be taking up and doing the maiden flight on the Ailerons Trekker ready to fly. Now you're going to hear this transmitter that comes with it beep every so often. It beeps every minute on the minute to get a new pilot the idea of how much time he's flying. Once I take off, I'll listen for beeps, and when I hear the fifth beep, 5 minutes, I'll land the airplane. Wind is out of the west, so we're going to take off into the wind, first one, and then we're going to try to land in the wind. So we'll take off in that direction, we'll be landing from that direction. And remember, this is a very simple, basic plane, so there's no expo, there's no way of telling how much your battery life is. Just a simple, basic setup to get you, the new pilot in the hobby, with a very simple plane. Simple 4-channel control, tricycle gear. And remember, there's no throttle cut, so keep your hands away from the prop. Always check your control surfaces, right, left, up, down, right, left. Everything is good. We can engage the prop, and let's get turned around. Okay. Then we're going to drive the plane a little bit further down the runway here. And once I take off, I'm going to veer off to the left, or to the right, sorry. Okay, here we go. Like I said, I don't have any kind of stabilization of any type. And it's kind of windy today. So simple corrections, small corrections with your transmitter. Don't jerk on the sticks, you know, just keep it nice and very small movements of the stick. This is all you're going to do. When you're a new pilot, you want to have an imaginary coffee table, and then you're going to fly around the corners of that imaginary coffee table, keeping yourself on the edge of the coffee table. That's what you're wanting to do. Just do that. Now I'm only at about half throttle right now. All right, I'm going to turn on my coffee table again, trying to stay on top of that coffee table. All right, 1 minute's gone by since I took off. All right, now we're going to go ahead and try to set up for landing. We'll start slowing down. Bring the plane right towards me. Slower my airspeed. There we go. And for you experienced pilots, this has no stability, has no wind mitigation, no vector system. This is just your basic airplane, simple controls. There's no expo or rates that you're going to be putting in from your transmitter. It's just a very simple aircraft. But you go back to the old school, simple, small corrections. All right, we're going to take off again. Gently pull back on the elevator. This is ready to fly. I've never flown this plane before, ever. So I have no idea, really. This is my experience with it, and every airplane is different. Basic rules, the same basic physics are always going to be in play with every aircraft. But when you pick up a different transmitter and a different plane, you got to relearn that characteristics of that plane. It's very windy today, so probably not a good day to maiden an aircraft. If you notice, I'm trying to fly a little bit lower now. And as you get better, you can lower that coffee table a little bit, do more flybys and stuff. The wind is really rocking her around though. Small corrections. All right, we're at the 3-minute mark now. Run a 1300 milliamp 3S battery that came with the aircraft. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't use the charger to charge the battery. We're going to go around one more time, and then we're going to land it. This is all you want to do as a new pilot, As you get used to that spatial awareness, developing that muscle memory of controlling that airplane as it flies. And since this doesn't have any kind of wind gyro or stabilization, it's really putting me to the test as far as learning how it flies. But a beginner could definitely fly this, but not on such a windy day. I would not recommend this on a windy day like today is. But I'm not trying to say anything about my own skill, but I've been flying for many years. And so I have developed what I like to call the feel. And that's the goal of every pilot, to develop that feel. People say, well, how's the airplane feel? Well, but she slows down nicely. Now, hold on, we're going to go around again. Kind of ran out of runway there. All right. Yeah, it's gotten awfully windy. There we go. Now, if you're in the rough like that and you want to move, full up elevator and get it going. There you go. All right, we're going to do one more landing and one more takeoff, and obviously one more landing. And then we'll go over a little bit about the plane. All right, here we go. Gentle back pressure. Whoa, that wind, wow. Gentle back pressure on the elevator as you pull up. Yeah, I am not used to this transmitter. I've never used this transmitter. I've never flown this plane, so probably not the best demonstration of my skills. But when I do a maiden, I want to give you a true representation. I don't want to practice flying so that I can make it look pretty for you. I want to put it from a new pilot standpoint. All right. Nice little plane. This plane can actually scoot. And, okay, we're going to end that flight there. This plane actually has a lot more power and ability than what I'm demonstrating in this flight. Like I said, that she's got at least a 1-for-1 ratio, and what that is, at least that I would say, and what that is thrust versus weight of the aircraft. Yeah, plenty of power there, plenty of power. I can't turn the motor off from my transmitter, so the only way to do that is stay behind the airplane, keep your hands away from the prop, pull your hatch, put it behind you. Don't put it out in front because you may be accidentally tempted to pick it up, or someone else may walk up and pick up, and then you'll still have an active prop until you disengage that battery. So stay behind the prop, undo your strap, okay? Unplug the battery. Now you can turn your transmitter off. And you repeat that process exactly in the opposite when you go to fly the first time. You'll turn your transmitter on, stay behind the airplane, plug in the battery, and then put your hatch back on. Now, to show you the placement, we'll leave the transmitter there for now. To show you the placement where that 1300 milliamp battery that comes with the plane, the best place for it to get your CG, your center of gravity, and that is how the plane balances as it flies, is to take your little 30 and then put it all the way forward as it can go, okay? And that's where it stays, right there. You got that okay? And that's where I put it. I'll put a little piece of Velcro under there. I put that strap on there, and she's fine right there. Okay? Put in your, and now you're ready to go once it, she got robust wheels, a little bit of suspension with that spring, we like to call that chicken wire. And, but yeah, she's just a solid, good flying little plane. The assembly is very simple. Y'all watch my unbox and build video. The only thing that's really, I would say, a negative is you really have to press in the two halves of the fuselage to get the screws to line up for installation of the rear half of the fuselage. You just kind of have to, bear in there, and they will line up. It takes some doings. You may have to change your screws a couple of times, change different screws. Many screws come with the plane, and you'll find the two that seem to line up. But once I got them lined up, locked in, and that back fuselage is not coming off. This is a solid flying little plane, and I do definitely recommend it for a beginner. And the nice thing about it is I'm actually glad it doesn't have stabilization and self-leveling. And you say, well, I want that as a beginner. Okay, you can always add that later if you wanted, but I would rather see you kind of learn the hobby the old school way, okay? And that's mean small corrections with your fingers. Even in this wind, and I've never flown, I was able to keep her aloft with no problems, okay? And the beginner would more than likely lose it or panic. If you come out on a calm day, under 5 miles an hour, you can fly this plane with no stabilization, no kind of wind gyro, and have an absolute blast and learn those muscle memory. The biggest thing I'm trying to impress upon you in this video is that when you fly a new plane and you're a new pilot, don't make sudden corrections with your thumbs when you're on a stick. You make small, gentle corrections, because a small amount of movement of a stick has a big dynamic effect in the air. So, all right, well, that's my Maiden on the ready to fly Trekker. All you got to provide other than that is your 4 AA batteries for the transmitter. That's all you need. Other than that, great flying plane. All right, on our next flight that we're going to review, I'm going to take her up a little bit higher. We're going to do a couple of mild tricks with it. Show you what it's capable of. We're going to take up the second flight ever of the Ailerons Trekker ready to fly. I'm flying with their transmitter that came with it. Everything you need, charger, battery, plane, and transmitter is all supplied. The only thing you have to buy is 4 AA batteries for the transmitter. In this flight, I'm going to feature a little more of what this plane can do aerobatic. We're going to fly around our normal, what I like to call the imaginary coffee table, which is, in your mind, you picture a coffee table about 100 feet off the ground, and you fly around the corners of that coffee table. And what we're going to do in this flight is we're going to try to incorporate maybe a figure 8 across the coffee table and maybe a couple barrel rolls. Actually take the plane up and turn her upside down. All right. Right, left, up, down, right, left. Just so you know, that beeping sound, this transmitter doesn't really have a timer per se, but it gives you a beep every minute. Once you take off, pay attention to 5 beeps. On the 5th beep, you need to land. So after I take off, the first beep. Right, left, up, down, right, left. Always check your control throws, your control surfaces before you take off. And do your best to try to take off into the wind and land into the wind if all possible. All right. Well, we're going to fly just a little bit more aggressive this time. Now I have no kind of gyro or stabilization of any type in her. All right. I'll cut across this way now. All right, first beep. We're going to cut around this way. Still trying to stay on top of that coffee table. Cut back this way. Go a complete circle there. All right. I know I'm up high, but you want to have what we like to call 3 mistakes high. All right, I'm going to come back towards us. We're going to do a loop now. Big loop. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Just show you a little more what you can do with this plane. Have a little bit of fun with her. Okay? Yeah. All right. What I'm doing, I'm up plenty high. That way, if I panic or if I get kind of lose my orientation, I can't figure out what I'm doing, I'm up high. So I've got elevation, I got altitude is my friend. Altitude is your savior in a way, because it gives you time to think. All right, let's slow it down a little bit. Bring it by and try to do a slower roll here. Now, it's kind of windy, so I'm having a hard time keeping this plane steady. But it's just fine. All right, let's go ahead and land it. Come down here, kind of set up for the runway. My imaginary table, killing some of my airspeed a little bit, down to almost no throttle. Keeping my wings level, best I can with the wind. And then a slight flare at the end. There you go. Now, if you're in the grass like that and sometimes you hit the throttle and she wants to nose over, give yourself full up elevator. Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Oh, there we got. Up. Nope. We're gonna have to walk out and get it. You got to remember the plane is very, very light. But once that nose digs in, you're gonna have to walk over and get it, and that's fine. Remember, there's no throttle cut. You can't turn the motor off, okay? So keep your hands and keep everything from behind the airplane. Pick it up on the wing, keeping that prop away from you, okay? There's nothing more embarrassing than having to go to the hospital because you hurt yourself on your toy. And it's certainly not going to hurt me to walk out and grab this plane. All right, let's try to get ourselves a little better landing this time. Okay. Right, left, up, down, right, left. All right, I'm going to stand behind the plane, taking off into the wind. Whoa. Man, that wind, whoo! It is windy today. But this is one tough little plane. Yeah, it's awfully windy today to be doing anything with this light of a plane, but that's okay. I don't recommend a beginner fly on a windy day like this. I recommend you fly a 5 mile or under if at all possible. There we go. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. If the landing doesn't look good or doesn't feel right to you, go around one more time. Just try to keep cognizant of how much time you've spent, how much you've spent on that battery. We're going to take it up and land one more time. All right, here we go. Back pressure on the elevator. There we go. Nice takeoff. Now again, this plane has no kind of stabilization or wind mitigation. It does not have self-level. So it's all old school control. You have to have the discipline of small corrections. Small corrections. There we go. Let's do that one more time. And this time I'm going to try to get on the center line of the runway. Now the reason I'm taking off in the same direction each time is because you should always try your best to take off into the wind and land in the wind. It'll give you the most control and the best recipe for success. There we go. I'm flying with the equipped 1300 milliamp 3S LiPo that has a 25C discharge. Okay. Whoa. Try to get on a runway here. Whoa. You can see the wind. Let me go around. Because I was not and it was in a situation like that where she kicks back up, don't try to land her. Give her power and get back out of there and try and make another approach. Give yourself a second chance. There we go. All right. And on top of all that, yes, it's a beginner aircraft. Yes, it doesn't have wind stabilization. Yes, it doesn't have self-leveling. But it's going to teach you the old school discipline of small corrections on the sticks. I've never used this transmitter in my whole life. Okay, I've never flown. This is the second time I've ever flown with this transmitter and this plane. And I had to go back to when I first learned to fly, that there stabilization, gyros, and none of that existed. When you were learning to fly, you had to use very small corrections with your fingers. And that's what this plane will do. It'll teach you the old school way of flying, which will give you a better skill set to get into something more advanced. Now, if you choose to put a gyro in here, great. You're going to have a good time. You really will. But I recommend this as a beginner plane to get to really learn the hardcore discipline of no help at all. Nothing against safe and stabilization. I understand. I'm not paying for your plane. And if people give you grief about using self-leveling and gyros, say, hey, buy my plane then. They'll shut up really quick. But I do like and it sounds like I'm talking out two sides of my mouth, but I'm really not. What I'm just trying to say, I recommend this because it doesn't have those things. You'll learn that small corrections discipline, and then you'll really appreciate the wind mitigation and gyros once you get a plane with that. Now, eventually, I'm going to put one of those kind of receivers in this plane, and I'll show you how to do that too. Well, folks, anyways, that is the Ailerons Trekker ready to fly. Everything you need minus the batteries for the transport, which is 4 AA, in the box. If you'll buy this plane, use the link I will provide you. Now, they're going to be having a Valentine's Day sale that runs from the 1st to the 18th of February of 24. I'll be putting a link in the description of this video, and then there'll be a code off the side. Now, that code, don't quote me, it's either going to take $15 off the original price or $25 off the original price. I don't remember which. But no matter what, it's better than the sale that they're going to offer. Now, you can just go to the HobbyZone site and go to their Valentine's sale during that time, and you'll probably take $5 to $10 off the price. But if you use my code, you can take either $5 or $10 more off the original sale price. Well, folks, thank you for watching. This is Fat Guy Flies RC. God bless each and every one of y'all. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, then trekkers.